But day 3 recap. Let's get into it and let's talk about that match. Alrighty, yes, so welcome to the Day 3 World Cup recap. I'm Goose for Goose of All Trades. Unfortunately, couldn't get my Day 2 recap posted. Just had a few technical issues and then just, some things popping up, so unfortunately didn't do that. But like I said, I'll try and do all the day recaps as I can. Unfortunately, I can't promise I'll do them all, but hopefully I can do as many as I can. And I'm glad I can cover this day, because last night in the opening match of Day 3, we witnessed probably one of the biggest upsets. I don't know if ever. I'd have to actually go back and look, but by far one of the biggest upsets of the past 3-4 years. Probably more so than South Korea's defeat against Germany last World Cup, because that was a lot of stake for Germany, but not South Korea, because they couldn't make it through. This is the opening game for both teams. Argentina, one of the favourites, and Saudi Arabia, who I wrote off, I'll be honest, in my prediction for the World Cups, which linked down below. I did write them off. I didn't think they were one of the Asian teams that could challenge. I said it would be Iran, South Korea, and Japan. We're obviously haven't seen the latter two yet, but obviously Iran very disappointing in yesterday's day 2. But yeah, Argentina, Saudi Arabia. I mean, Argentina dominated this game in terms of possession, passes. I want to say controlling the game, but they didn't really control the game considering the amount of possession they had, which is very, very surprising, very shocking. Messi obviously scoring that penalty. Obviously Argentina were, I won't say done over by the VAR or even just the offside. Not all were done by VAR, but offside in general. That comes down to their attacking midfielders and their forwards, the strikers. They weren't getting in the right positions. They were running too quick. I mean, a lot of those were, offside every day of the week. I don't know if there was a questionable offside against Argentina. I don't know. Obviously, they got that penalty in their favour, which is a bit, I don't know if it's even 50-50, maybe 60-40 to not happen, but hey, it happened. And, kudos to Saudi Arabia for a team that gave away a penalty, like I said, that maybe shouldn't have been given against them, but to then kick 2 goals and be up 2-1 and really hold that lead. I mean, we always talk about teams, scoring and winning, especially against a team like Argentina 2-1, but they scored their goals early. Well, not early, but, not in the last 30-40 minutes of the match. And for them to hold that lead, have that composure against an Argentine team with players like Di Maria and Messi that didn't give up trying to score, like massive kudos to Saudi Arabia. I mean, even if they lose their next 2 games, which, it would be disappointing after that massive win, but even if they do, this World Cup will be remembered as their best World Cup because of that win against Argentina in the opening game. Argentina going as one of the favourites, and history will remember that because this is Messi's last World Cup. So a bit like, Portugal get beaten by a team they shouldn't be the same as Ronaldo. So wait and see if that happens. Like I said, massive credit to Saudi Arabia. I mean, both their goals were very good goals. I mean, they weren't gimme goals by any means. Argentina got their only goal by penalty, and like I said, it was a questionable penalty, but hey, it is what it is in football. But God, Saudi Arabia, I mean, they just took advantage of their opportunities. I mean, both of their goals happened in open play, and it was just incredible work by the forwards and by the strikers. I mean, just incredible, and they're both very good goals. High pressure, high momentum, at a very high speed. Massive kudos. I can't speak much more about that. So that was Saudi Arabia versus Argentina. Saudi Arabia 2-1. Next, we have the 0-0 draw of Denmark and Tunisia. A lot of people didn't pick this, and neither did I. I thought if it was a draw, it'd at least be 1-1. 2 very capable goal-kicking teams. By the way, was the World Cup randomly just moved to Tunisia for one day? Because that match felt like a Tunisia home game. Like, massive applause. Seriously, massive applause to the Tunisian fans for showing up like they did. Not only big numbers, just it felt as though every Tunisian fan in that stadium was being loud. Not just being vocal, but being fucking loud. Kudos to them. We can talk about if that carried the team to a pretty good, 1-point draw. I mean, this game was fairly even. I mean, Denmark probably controlled more of the possession. I think they had 59% possession. But in in terms of total shots, I think they were quite even. Denmark had more shots on target, and kudos to the Tunisian goalkeeper. I mean, he had, I think, 5 or 6 saves, and not all of them were easy saves. So massive applause to him. Massive applause to the defence for putting on very good pressure towards Denmark as well. This was... You don't always like to see 0-0 matches, especially, 2 in the one day, and we'll go on to the next one after this. But, I mean, this was still an entertaining match, and I think that was because the Tunisian fans, watching it, I thought Tunisia were going to get a goal. I mean, they had, one goal looked like it was going to go in there. But, this was an interesting match. I mean, this group just got very interesting. We'll obviously talk about the Australia game last. This group just got really interesting because of this draw. I mean, it makes a lot of possibilities to happen now. I mean, it's going to be hard to predict. It's, it could be a 3-team race for that second spot. It could be a 2-team race. We'll wait and see what happens in further matches, of course. But I think this is going to be one of those groups where, I mean, it's probably not going to be 100% set in stone, but it's going to be pretty well easy to guess who's going to advance after the next games, after each team plays their second game. But this was an interesting match. I mean, like I said, the crowd really made this match. You don't always like to see 0-0 matches, but it was interesting because the crowd really got everyone involved and it really brought you into the game. So kudos to Tunisian fans, and I'm really interested to see how Tunisia go against Australia and France, to be honest. And Denmark, I mean, you can talk about if they underwhelmed or disappointed. It's hard to tell in this first game until they play their second match, which will be against France. So we'll wait and see with that one as well. Poland versus Mexico, another 0-0 draw. Like I said, you don't always like to see multiple 0-0 drawn matches, especially back-to-back in the same day. But, I mean, because these matches have, so much on the line, and they end up making the group a little bit more interesting, actually, both of these draws. And, the Mexico, I mean, I probably tipped Poland in this match. If I was to pick, it was really hard to decide on a winner. So maybe I'd subconsciously decided on a draw, I'm not really sure. But Mexico probably controlled this game a bit more. They had more shots on target, more shots overall. They had a lot more of the possession. They had 60% of the possession. But in saying that, Poland really did take their opportunities. I mean, for a team to have 40% possession and have as many shots as they did in shots on target. And I mean, Poland probably should have won this 1-0. If you almost bet your house that Lewandowski is going to kick a penalty goal, and obviously the Mexican goalkeeper Ochoa, I'm not sure if I mispronounced that. I apologise to any Mexican viewers if I mispronounced his name, but again, he's just proves why he's one of the best goalkeepers at the World Cup. He just always proves that. Massive save for Mexico. His team actually patting him on the back because they were by far the better team. To lose this match 1-0 would have been very devastating for them. This was a very highly contested game too. Just so, I don't want to say aggressive, but just very rough. A lot of fouls. I mean, I think there was close to 30 fouls, which is just insane compared to all the other matches in this same day 3. But this makes this group very interesting. I mean, these two teams are probably the teams that everyone was picking to get second out of this group. So that was really interesting that they drew 0-0 in their first match. I mean, the next two games for them obviously ultra important. They're in. Don't want to say one of the toughest groups, but just because Mexico and Poland, everyone you asked was hard to differentiate who was going to go 2 and 3 really. But now we'll wait and see what happens. I mean, Poland and Lewandowski were very disappointing last World Cup, and let's just hope that doesn't happen again. Will this be Lewandowski's last World Cup? Hard to say. Probably not. I don't think it will be, but you never know with some top players. They kind of retire early or they get injured. So, I mean, you have a look at, Benzema and Marco Reus, who, missing the World Cup, who should be playing and in teams that are really battling for a World Cup. So, Lewandowski really needs to take this opportunity and try and carry Poland to the group of 16. The last 16. So, this game was really interesting, made this group even more interesting. And, let's tackle this last. Alrighty, yes, let's talk about Australia and France. Obviously, France winning 4-1 in the end. We'll obviously probably sit on this one a little bit longer, obviously, because I'm half Australian, so we'll focus on the Socceroos. Unfortunately, I mean, we started so well. Craig Goodwin getting that goal in the 9th minute. I mean, a lot of Australian fans were just, we were sky high. Watched the footage of fans in Melbourne, at 6 in the morning, celebrating. even after that goal, I thought, okay, we're not going to win this game 1-0. Like that, it's just not going to happen. We're not that good defensively or structurally that we're going to win 1-0. Was I optimistic we could win 1-1? Yeah, kind of. I was. I was hoping that, yeah, we could be as good as we can be defensively, but also it's shit to say, but Terai and France making a lot of mistakes and missing easy goals, which they did for a period, but then obviously they didn't. I mean, Australia, we really played well the first. People are saying 20 minutes. I want to say actually 30 minutes. Obviously, they got that goal in the 27th minute, and then we were still kind of okay for the next few to 5 minutes, but it all obviously fell apart. I mean, we had two really good looks there as well. Jackson Irvine had that header, incredible header. I mean, he aimed that perfectly. Just unfortunately, should have aimed a little bit this side because he had the goalie beaten. Loris was beaten, and it hit the woodwork, unfortunately, and bounced the wrong way. And then we had, trying to think of who it was, we had another player who had an amazing strike just outside the box and just went this side of the post, unfortunately. And Mitchell Duke it was, I think. So we had a lot of good looks, but I think they were all in the first half, or at least in the first 50 minutes of the match. Second half, we ran out of legs structurally, and we just, I mean, Harry Kill nailed it on the head on a commentary. I really liked Harry Kill on commentary. He made a lot of good calls. I mean, this bloke was part of the team, the only ever Australian team to make it out of the group stage. So, I mean, he knows what he's talking about. He's one of Australia's greatest ever players and exports. So, I loved him on commentary. And, yeah, he nailed it on the head when he said, Australia, we're not creating runs. No one's running off the play, behind the ball. None of that. I mean, a lot of stagnant play. It was very frustrating to watch because we have a lot of fast players. But although I did question Graham Arnold. I mean, I'm not a massive fanboy of Graham Arnold, but I'm obviously not one of those people that just roast the guy online because that's just ridiculous. I mean, he's in the position for a reason. But I did question the starting lineup. I have to admit, I questioned Goodwin. I thought, okay, is Goodwin good enough, and does he have the form to be our main guy starting, like as the striker? I thought McLaren was literally a shoo-in. I mean, they're in the same league, and McLaren is, leagues higher than Goodwin in terms of current play and obviously past play. But to Goodwin's credit, he got that goal. I mean, he didn't really do much after that, unfortunately. Even though he kicked that first goal, he maybe looked at to be replaced by McLaren in the second match. I mean, this second match against Tunisia is ultra fucking important. I mean, it's so important now. They drew. Tunisia and Denmark drew. That means we have to beat Tunisia, and we're relying on France to beat Denmark and Tunisia, and we're relying to draw with Denmark, ideally, at the worst. So, I mean, it just made things ultra difficult now that they drew, and, but although it kind of makes it easier for us as well because they haven't won, so we still have hope that, Denmark doesn't win against France, and we can obviously get a draw or even beat them. But in terms of this match, I mean, I probably wouldn't have started Garang Kuol. I mean, he's 19, so I probably wouldn't have started him his first ever World Cup match against the reigning champions, but I would have started Awer Mabil. I mean, he's played a lot of great. He's on the top tier leagues, but he plays in a league better than the A League. So what can you say? And he's played a lot for Australia, and he started a lot for Australia. I was very surprised he didn't get the start. Him and Kuol obviously come on. I think it was in the 60, 70 minute mark, which was just too late by that point. Obviously, we were just dominated around the park, possession, shots on goal, everything. Like literally, we dominated, which I'm not overly surprised about. If you're gonna lose, die on the sword. Don't be stagnant. Don't want to be risky, because if we're down by so much, if we're down by 2-1, 3-1, I mean, they nailed it. Mark Bosnich and Craig Foster nailed it. If you're down 2-1 at halftime, you come out taking risks, being aggressive, not overly aggressive or taking risks where they're going to kill you on the counter. But we were clearly losing the game, and not just on the scoreboard. We were losing the game all around. Whoop, just punched my desk. That's how aggressive I am. I didn't understand the coaching. I don't know if it's the coaching or the lack of communication to the players, or the players not doing what Arnie said. I don't really know. But this next match is literally do or die for Graham Arnold, in my opinion. I think if we lose to Tunisia, especially in an ugly way, which, I mean, is possible against a country like Tunisia after that match against Denmark and our match against France, If we lose against Tunisia, we're obviously out of the running of going to the round of 16, and obviously Denmark. If we lose Tunisia, we'll probably lose to Denmark, and Arnold will be out the door in my eyes because, I don't like to, don't want to sack the bloke pretty much on Christmas, but the World Cup ends end of December. Obviously, Australia will be out early December if we don't go to the round of 16. But obviously, it'll take a bit of time to, assess the situation and if Arnold was the right guy or not, because we've got the Asian Cup in June. My eyes, you need someone 1st of January already signed up, ready to go, planning, getting ready to pick teams, planning some friendlies, even playing friendlies with our bloody second tier players that play in A-League and play in other not top tier leagues. I mean, just really get ready for the Asian Cup next year if our World Cup ends in disappointment, which is a big possibility now. So yeah, we can't have Graham Arnold sticking around and come to February, March, he's not the bloke, let's just get a short-term coach in. Fuck this short-term coach bullshit, like we've done with the last World Cup when Ange left. I know Ange left, it's kind of, I don't know if it was mutual. I think they probably wanted Ange, but he thought it was time to leave, sorry. If they thought Arnold was the guy, they should have signed him up and he should have taken us to the World Cup. In my opinion, this would be his second World Cup. He'd have experienced the World Cup. But anyway, that's a discussion for another time. But this is this ultra important match. We just got absolutely taken off the park by France. I mean, we had a few standout players. I thought Matthew Leckie was great. I mean, setting up that goal, well, he was just incredible. He did really two good things in that play to get that goal. I thought Aziz Baich had a lot of good moments and did a lot of good things, and he didn't really have any howling moments either. Obviously, Craig Gooden got that goal, but like I said, he didn't do much before or after that. Harry Suter, I mean, what can you say? I mean, he was one that started that goal. He created a lot of opportunities. He was pretty good in defence. He obviously lost a header, which resulted in a goal, but that happens to the best of defenders, so you can't really hold that against him. So we had about 3 or 4 players. I thought Jackson Irvine was quite good. Again, you already attacked him in the comments again, like last video, but Aaron Moy, unfortunately, I think was a bit disappointing. He had a lot of decent moments, not great moments, but decent moments. Against a team like Tunisia, I think he really needs to be one of our best players for us to go any further in this competition. But that's it for the Day 3 recap. That was kind of a Day 3 recap and a preview to Australia's next game. But yeah, please comment down below what you thought of Day 3. I mean, do you think Saudi Arabia against Argentina was the greatest upset of the World Cup of all time? Let me know. Or if that isn't, let me know what you think is the biggest upset. That might be a future video idea. Let me know in the comments. If you want to keep following my day recaps of World Cup, hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit that like button. Let me know that I'm doing content you guys appreciate and enjoy. And as always, start some discussions in the comments. And yeah, have a great rest of your day. And I'll see you all for the Day 4 recap.